Hi friends, I am Rijo. Today we are planning to discuss the topic Azure Service Endpoint. So what is the learning objective today? Service Endpoint concept and Service Endpoint supporting Service Endpoint policy and demo how to we can create the Service Endpoint. So first we will go for our Service Endpoint concept. So what is Service Endpoint concept? By default Azure managed service access over the public internet. If example storage account is cosmodb, every Azure service through the publicly connected to the Azure resource. So here I will describe one small diagram. So your virtual network needed to connect to the storage account. How we connected through the public internet. So what happened this one, this will be affect your sensitive resources. If you have any sensitive document or something like this one, it will be affected, right? So you need to enable the solution. So you need to connect through the private connectivity. So how we can do, because this case Azure will be supporting for the service, one of the service endpoint. So how will the service endpoint help you? The service endpoint access to the Azure service from the VNet over the private network using the Microsoft backbone service. So here you can see now the public connectivity not available. So once you enter the service endpoint, your connection will be rerouted through the service endpoint, privately using the Microsoft backbone service. Now you understand the concept of using the service endpoint. So next we will go for service endpoint supporting service, whatever the supporting service is available. So you can see Microsoft Azure Active Directory, Microsoft Azure Cosmos DB, and these all services will be supporting for your service endpoint. See, service endpoint supporting all the service, but not all the service. This type service all will be support, but not supporting for your all the service. So next one, service endpoint policy. So service endpoint policy. By default, service endpoint provide the private access to entire managed service. Example, all the storage account. Example, so here I will demonstrate one small diagram. So here you can see you implementing your service endpoint, but you have the two storage accounts, storage A, storage B. But the problem is once you implement, you can access through your service and both the storage account, you can access through both storage account, right? So when you need to implementing the service endpoint policy, restrict to the access to a specific storage account. So here you can see once you implementing the service endpoint policy, so example you need to access only storage account A. Okay, you need to access only this account storage A. Once you implement in this policy, you don't want to access the storage, they will only give the access for the storage A, not give the access of the storage B. So you now understand the specific storage account you can access through the service access policy, service endpoint policy. But service endpoint policy only support for the Azure storage service, not supporting for the, before you see the diagram, you're not supporting for the all the service. So now you understand service endpoint policy, what's the purpose of using the service endpoint policy. So we will go for our demonstration how to we can create the service endpoint, so you can understand more. Okay, so we will go for our Azure portal. Hi friends, now I reach our Azure portal. So I will explain you before we are configuring whatever the pre-configuration I done in the service endpoint. Okay, so I just create one resource group service endpoint. So after that I created like one storage account, name is service point storage account, and I create one virtual machine, and then I create one virtual network VNet service endpoint. So first we will go for our virtual network. So here we can go. Then I create two subnet, because subnet A and subnet B. This is different IP. It's the same address space but different IP IPv4 1.0 and 2.0, because two subnet I created. So after that I just connect with the subnet name with our virtual machine. We can see here we will go for our virtual machine. So here we can see our networking. So here you can see the network virtual network subnet is I create connected with the subnet. So now you understand what is the pre-configuration, what I did in the service before configuration the service endpoint. Now you understand what is the pre-step I configured before configuring the service endpoint. So first we will go for our virtual network. Then here you can scroll down, then you can see the service endpoint. Just click the service endpoint. So after that you can create the service endpoint. Just click this add service endpoint. So here the service endpoint will be supporting this all service. I told you before, service endpoint not support for all the service, only supporting for this services. So here you can see micro active directory, key vault, service bus and SQL. So once you select the Microsoft storage, you can see here the policy drop down will be seen. So only storage account you can see the policy. Okay, you just change your service to Microsoft web, you cannot see, only you can see the service. So that I told you, only the service endpoint policy accept for the storage account. If you select Microsoft SQL, is not appearing. So just we will now you understand where the service endpoint policy will be support. So I will select the Microsoft storage. So after that you need to select, but I don't have now the service endpoint policy. So first I will go for creating the service endpoint policy. So just already you need to just type here service endpoint policy. Here you can see the service endpoint. Just click the service endpoint policy. Then just create. So after that you select your resource group. What is the resource group? I create service endpoint or just service endpoint, and you need to enter the policy. So what policy we will enter? Policy service endpoint policy. Service endpoint policy. Okay. So location, same location, east. You just click next need to policy definition. Here you need to add the policy. The policy will allow access only the Azure service resource listed in the on this page. Access to all other resource for the service will be denied. So what resource you want to add here? See here only the Microsoft storage will be displayed. Single account also. And here you need to select your resource group. What is the resource group we are need? RJ storage service endpoint. So after that you need to select your resources. What is the resource you already create the service storage account. So what is the storage account? Our name is service point storage account. So we will create this one. Okay. So you understand now. We will select Microsoft storage. Then what is the account? You can see all account and subscription. We will go for the single account and we will select our resource group, RJ service endpoint and service endpoint storage account. We will select our resource means our storage account. Then click add. Then after that go to tag. If you have entered the tag, you just enter. After that you just create review and create. So now you understand what we will do. We create the service endpoint policy. Just click create. So now what happened? Our service endpoint policy will be deployment. So after the service endpoint policy will be deployment successfully, we will go for creating our service endpoint. So the deployment is now success. So just we will now go for Microsoft Azure, our resource group. I select RJ service endpoint. So here what we will do, we will now go for creating our service endpoint. Before we will not create a policy. So now we will go for service endpoint, and here we need to add our service endpoint. So here you need to select our service. So what service I now selected? Microsoft.storage. So here you need to select your policy. So what policy I create? Service endpoint policy. So select that one. After that you need to select. I told you I already created subnet A and B. Okay. Here we will select the subnet A. So what happened? Only the Microsoft storage account only can access with the subnet A. So just create and add. So now your service endpoint policy will be successfully, and you already add the service endpoint. So just wait for the successful version. Just it take little bit time. status is updating. So we just refresh again. So just wait for the command. Okay, now you can see our service endpoint is successful. The status is showing succeed. So what we will do, we will just go for our storage account first. So normally I will show you something. You just go for your service endpoint. This is our service endpoint account. So here you can go for the networking. So networking, click the network. So here you can see the firewall and virtual root, public network. When you create the service endpoint, also you not disabling for your public access. So you need to, here you need to disable your public. Still you can access with the enable the from all the network for the publicly access your the storage account. So what I do, I just enable the selected virtual network and IP address. So before we will go for here, we will go for our file share. We will create one file share. So just click file share. We will add one file share. File share name is service endpoint file share. Okay. Then entire we need a hot. Just next, no need to backup. Okay. Then we will go for next review and create. So this is testing purpose, that why we create only without backup. Okay, so just we will now what happened, we create our file share. Okay, just you will go for browse. So now you can see here, you can browse your file and we will create one directory name, test directory. Okay, then click OK. Okay, now our test directory is created. So just I will upload one file for this text directory. Just click upload, then browse one file from our computer Azure. Okay, then open, then overwrite, then upload. Okay, upload is successful. So now we will upload our file in successfully. So now again I will go for our storage account, service endpoint storage account. So here we will go for our networking. Then what I do, I just disable the public access. So before you see enable the from the old network, I just click enable selected network. So add existing virtual network. So here you can see virtual network VNet 01. Already we have the virtual network. Here you can see you need to create the service endpoint. If subnet, we cannot select the subnet because we don't have the service endpoint. But subnet we already create the service endpoint. So here not showing the service endpoint record because we already created. So here you can subnet B, see the service endpoint is required. So if you need to create the select the virtual network and IP address, you need to create the service endpoint record. So just I will go for subnet because I already have the service endpoint. Then click add. So what happened? We will enable the service endpoint to the virtual network subnet to enable the selected virtual network IP address. So just we will after that just click save. So we will waiting for the configuration will be successful, save the firewall and virtual network settings. So what we will go again the file share. Before you can access your file share, right? You can access and you can upload your file. So now you just go for refresh, then you just go for your file share and you click the browse. Here you can see the difference. See, this machine does not seem to have the access because this machine is not located in the account VNet. So what I do, now you understand what happened. We not located in the VNet, so we cannot access this file. So virtual machine already I created. Okay, so just we will go for that virtual machine, the resource group. What is the virtual machine is the created here are the service endpoint. So here I create VM endpoint, but this VM endpoint already in the subnet. So here you can see VNet service endpoint subnet. Okay. So just I will go for my disk again, and we just click here, file share. So we already create the file share, right? So we need to copy the connection string. So here we need to copy the string. So just to copy this string because we need to check our connectivity. Copy this script here. Okay, to the machine. Then connect. Then we will download our RDB file. Then double click open. So just enter the password. Continue. Reach our virtual machine. This virtual machine already connected with the subnet. So just you need to go for PowerShell so you can see the file. Okay. For here we need to copy our script file. Just to go for here, whatever, just copy. Then here we need to paste. Then we need to run. So we will check. Yeah. Now that credential is added successfully. So we will check our file share is added or no. We will click the file share, this PC. So here you can see your file share already added, service endpoint file. Just click if the file is available or not. See, test directory already there, and you can see here our Azure PNG log whatever be before added. So now you understand how to we can configure the service endpoint. Okay, so I think this service endpoint topic you can understand. If you like my video, please subscribe my channel and support me. Thank you so much.